you're basically done with this, just before you hit the button, there we go, one poison stack outside of the left mouse button. Now you can actually proc your Shadow Slash. That will be 3 buttons. Then comes your Z button, which will be 4, and your tab will actually, the hook kick itself, will give you another button. So if you time this correctly, you will not be even into like the normal decoy stance. You will be just straight up into the height stance and just straight up fucking things up, like really easy. And if you look at the cooldown for Shadow Drain, now it is on the 18 seconds, it will be lowered to 12 seconds. So meaning that stacking poisons will become even easier than usual. So yeah, exactly, that makes it like permanent poison, which means that is a huge fucking buff. Because here it says, Spinal Tap Stage 3 applies a stack of poison with a 6-second cooldown. Now that is basically this one, right here. This is the one, and it has extra lightning damage as well, which is crazy, right? It's really crazy. Stage 3, Tier 3, Stage 2 has now an area of effect, which is funny. I need to... So yeah, I'm not sure about these. Honestly, like, not quite sure how these work. I need to figure out how this works. Like, reading this, it doesn't make sense to me. Now, Hard Stab gets, well, it's not really a buff. It really just changes that. On a grab, you can do the same thing. Yeah, Lightning will get buffed amazingly, like crazy. So, like, this part, to me, it doesn't really change Hard Stab. Now Bombard gets a change, I don't give a fuck about that. Venom Pierce now can be cast onto a successful counter or decoy, or landing a critical hit with Lightning Pierce or Lightning Crash. So basically what you do, and here's where I'm not quite sure whether it is into the decoy stance or if it applies onto the dark stances as well. Basically what it says is, if you hit your right mouse button into an F button, you will be able to get yourself Venom Pierce. Now, the Venom Pierce has, right now, up on successful decoy counter within 0.5 seconds. So I'm not quite sure if this applies to a stealth stance itself. It doesn't say that. So it could be either good or bad for lightning build, or not significant, right? Like, basically what you can do if you have all the buttons, you can get yourself outside of the stance, get one hit in, press F, then one more right mouse button to get the extra poison buff. In all honesty, I'm not quite sure how good this thing will be. Seems like a buff, but either way, not quite sure. Now, Lightning Strike could be posed as a nerf for PvP, because the cooldown is actually higher. But in all fairness, it just makes it easier for stacking poison while being in the dark build. Well, yes and no. Like, it makes it easier for both parties, and actually easier for the lightning build, in all fairness. Like, I showed the rotation, which I have in my mind, and if that works, you will never be into, like, you will never be outside of stealth ever. And right now I still think like lightning build is better if you have good ping and if you know how to any cancel properly. But yeah, it's all debatable either way. I'm not going into that much. Dark Strike F no longer deals increased damage to targets affected by grab of Phantom Grip. Like, this is a nerf, but not all that situational. Lightning Strike is optional if you put a point into it. I think it's, I'm not quite sure. Like, it says it has tier 1 stage 1, so apparently you can be putting a point into it, so I'm not quite sure. But in all honesty, it's quite the buff if you can, like, it will do an inflict additional lightning damage. So basically the buff itself will be not the damage but the poison refill. So basically right now, if you double back into Lightning Strike, you do a lot of damage and that's it. But you need the 5 poison stacks to make it do a lot of damage. But right now, onto the newest patch, it will actually refresh your poison stacks. Yeah, so tier 0 actually, I'm not quite sure if, because here's the strange thing, like, it says tier 1 and whatsoever, but I'm not quite sure if this part applies to the tier 1 stage 1, but seeing that this is underneath this part, it probably should be. So Dark Strike nerf a little bit onto Venom Grip or Grab, but I'm not very like into that anyway. Lightning Pierce. Now this is crazy. It requires a successful hit with Hard Stab. I'm like, that was the case anyway. Like nobody cares. You can no longer use Lightning Crash after you learned Lightning Pierce, which is quite okay because there's a change with Lightning Crash. Like this is Lightning Pierce, this is called a Lightning Crash for it, or like I'm not quite sure actually. What's Lightning Crash? I think they mean Dark Strike, but or Close Shave. I'm not quite sure. Like it doesn't ring a bell honestly, so we'll get back to that, or maybe you guys know. Lightning Pierce has overall damage increase. Yes, baby, yes. A lightning build buffed right here. I'm not even sure about the numbers. I'll print screen this shit and compare it. Stealth F without skill tree. Seriously? Crazy. I've never actually looked into it. But it's probably something I wouldn't use. But whatever. Lightning Pierce no longer deals increased damage to targets affected by Poison Stun or Venom Grip. So basically what they did is, if you don't have the Poison stack, the Lightning Pierce will do more damage, but it doesn't do more damage if you have the 5 Poison stacks. So that's how I should be interpreting it. Removing Lightning Crash is actually a DPS boost. I have absolutely no fucking clue. Like, it never popped my mind. I just press buttons, right? Swift Step F. Swift Step Base now applies daze as a joint attack. This is a buff cleanly, because this way you can easily double daze the Yeti, still do damage without actually popping anything else. So it is really crazy. Swift SA is tier 1 now applies a knockdown as a joint attack. So basically what it does is, yay, we have a daze, and onto the tier 1 it's a knockdown. So double knockdown, double daze whenever you want it to happen, which is crazy. Yo, Art Gaming, what's up, man? F Stomp now, this is crazy actually. Stomp has a shortcut change from F to Tab and has been combined with Flash Kick and Webbing. I'm not quite sure how this works. Like, either you have to put in points or whatnot, but I heard somebody say that the Tab or like the Stomp will actually put you into hide whether you are in whether you have a poison stack. It doesn't say it here, so I'm quite curious whether it is. I'm not actually believing it, but whatever. Flash Kick Tab. Flash Kick now deals increased damage. Now I've never had to use this ever. Like Flash Kick, yay, increased damage. It's like 5.1k. Whoop-de motherfucking do. Like if I look at my lightning rod right there, like it already exceeds that damage. So there's absolutely no point. Removing Stomp is DPS boost. Stealth Tab now allows the user to escape Frost Prison. Yay, that's probably from what I heard for everything. Save 2 poison stack. Hey, I'm going to show you a way what I think onto the newest patch. Like, I'm going to make a video tomorrow about this, by the way, onto the newer patch. Makes it so much easier. Sweeping Gale can now be used to cancel other skills. Sweeping Gale Tab. Which one? I think it's Turning Leaf. Like, we don't have... Oh, wait. Sweeping Gale. You the best, you need more viewers. Hey, as long as you guys stay, maybe we'll grab more viewers. Like, viewers attract viewers. That's the general reason. Or, like, the general term. So, Sweeping Gale. You can now cast other skills faster in succession with Sweeping Gale. Now, this seems funny, but... It launches target. Yeah, it's your normal tab. I'm like, what the fuck is this skill? Whatever. But like, what skills would I try to pop? Like, I only have my X button to be able to hit somebody. Like, why would I? I don't get it. Like, maybe you would do a crazy thing like, oh my god, I tab him up, I X once, I X twice to get myself back into hide, and then no. Like, no. Like, what use would this have? I absolutely have no idea. Like, Sweeping Gale can now be used to cancel other skills, which is good, for one reason. So basically, when you stun, double back there and then tab to up somebody, which is, I'm not quite sure if it's possible now, but it should be doable. Funny thing would be, if you stun somebody, they probably can tab first before you can tab. Now, if you want to kill somebody, like, you can just like stun, spinal tab them up, and just do the extra damage. So I'm not quite sure if this is a buff. Like, in my head it seems to be a buff, but I'm not quite sure. You can 2F daze and then knock back up to cancel. That's the animation. So wait, 2F daze and tab knock up to cancel. Yeah, because 2F daze is like a very slow thing. Like, yeah, it's probably the same with spinal tap. It has like a short delay for it to work. So yeah, I'm thinking actually the same. So yeah, fuck, just turn down the fucking music. Maybe I can just put this up on my YouTube anyway. Alright, let's see, what else? We got the Stomp, Stealth, Sweeping Gale, that's where we had it. Now, here's the funny thing, Hook Kick Tab has its cooldown decreased from 12 seconds to 18, which is crazy buffs, right? Especially in PvP. Now, Hook Kick applies one stack of poison to the targets affected by the poison. Now, this is also part of the succession, what you needed to know. So, like I said, if you're inside a hide, you get 5 stacks, yay, I'm not even going to put down the 2. Now let's just imagine, right? Let's just imagine that I'm outside of stacks. Now the left mouse button will pop 1 poison. This will pop 2 poison, Shadow Slash, because that's new on the thingy. So that makes 3. Here's 4. Wait, does that button? That makes 4. This will make 5. So the Hook Kick buff will actually make it a lot better. Now you can cast other skills faster in succession with the Hook Kick. Now this is also a crazy thing because, for instance, if you in PvP you tab and then straight up E, you can get outside of ranges like how do you say it? Like normally you will be able, or like you won't be able to get out of it easily. And we'll be able to get a day's cancel or whatever. Now, the funny thing would be, if you could, for instance, like, okay, let's Hook Kick, I tab X, like, right now I won't be able to do it. I'm not sure if it's on the general cooldown or not, but we'll have to see about that. But basically, you could, in my head, you could tab X button, E, get out, get back in with the X button on the days. But I'm not sure if it's a general cooldown, you're probably fucked. But you can still use like the Ice Mine or like the Mine there, and then either double back or E or Q or whatever to get your iframes off and stay yourself into hide. This provides you with more utility, like whatsoever. I know that E, Q, double back are all on no global cooldowns, which are generally used for like any canceling or whatsoever, which is pretty great. Now, Shadow Dash no longer reduces cooldown of Hook Kick, whatever. I've never actually looked into this all that much to like mess up my rotations, whatever. It really doesn't bother me. Shadow Dash has been removed effective stage 3, like had its effects, like I'll have to look into this, like not quite sure what it does. Sidewinder number 1. Now this is is this a new skill? No. Sidewinder no longer decreases the cooldown of Hook Kick. Sidewinder changes 3. Yeah, whatever. I'll have to look at the new skill. What do I think? I have to look at it. Like I'm on the Korean server. They said like it's shit, so probably possible, but I'm not quite sure. Now the Sidewinder, I think this is the one. This one changes up a little bit. Sidewinder no longer decreases the cooldown of Hook Kick, has its effects, and it has been adding lightning damage now. Whoop-de-fucking do, I'm not quite sure what it does or what it will look like. So we'll have to look into that a little bit more. Now, double time. Double time is a new skill that deals damage, applies one stack of poison, and extends the stealth by 6 seconds. When cast on a target affected by a restraint status, we'll just have to look at the damage and whether it is good or not. We'll have to test it. It just means that I can daze mine while I'm hook kicking. Yep. Right now it's really choppy. Yep, exactly. It makes it so much more fluent, and it allows you to, when you're using the daze mine hook kick, you can straight up X button without actually having to worry about the roll actually iframing your X button, like the throw shuriken. Cyclone Sweep. I'm not quite sure if this is as much of a change, but the funny thing is, like the Shadow Drain cooldown reduction is from 18 seconds to 12. That means like you can get yourself into hide for longer, easier, because right now it is 18 seconds. It refreshes your cooldown, but it will be 12 seconds, which is fucking crazy, right? So it's clearly, from what we've seen so far, a lightning build buff, straight A, like not even kidding. Hook kick has been added. I'm not quite sure what it does extra. Now here's a funny thing though. Like Cyclone Sweep base now has an area of effect of 4 meters and has a cooldown decrease of 24 seconds and is down from 45. Now you would say like, oh my god, buff, but if you look at this, like this is the base, this is no points, and when you look at the no points, like what does this skill do? Like, yay, target unconscious. Like this is the base. This is something that nobody ever uses. Like you could possibly use it against a summoner, but if he knows how to play, it's still useless. And the Cyclone Sweep here is still 4 meters, and 24 seconds is still apparent. So I'm not quite sure whether this is a change of buff or whatsoever. Like the unconscious part, maybe it is used for PvE. I've never seen it been used ever onto any mechanics. It will be good against summoners. Summoners will be able to call their pet back with a jump, I think, or a tab. I'm not quite sure. I thought there was a way for them to do it. You'll be able to pretty much SS a one Shadow Drain and repeat. Yeah, practically. That's the funny part about it. Decoy no longer decreases the decreased cooldown of a hook kick. Like I've never been such a fan of hook kick. Like this is basically a PvP nerf for the people that actually use hook kick a lot to get back into hide. But me personally, I haven't used it all that much. So yeah, debatable. Tier 3 no longer creates a barrier. Whatever, fuck the barrier anyway. Like if you're dead, you're dead. Tier 4 stage 1 now grants a nearby party enemy, yeah, whatever, and has been moved. So basically the party buff that you can give yourself has been changed a little bit overall. Either way, I'll just look at it. You can now cast other skills more quickly after succession after landing a successful counter with decoy. I have to see how fast it actually is. Should be quite crazy. So, Shadow Slash, Tier 3, whatever, cooldown decreased from 18 seconds. Okay, so that's a straight, wait, that's a knockdown. That is crazy. That's a buff straight up. And this is a buff as well, like Tier 5 now has an area of effect of 10 meters. It was 8 before. Like, I'm not sure if the 2 meters are actually that crazy, but I can imagine certain situations where you, like for instance, you double back, like further away from your target, and you try the 3, but you don't have the range. So yeah, it's a non-Hong Moon attack, so it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not quite sure honestly. Like, if you look at this, it is 30 seconds. If you look at this, it's still 30 seconds. So I am wondering, like, if this will add onto the Shadow Slash as well. Like the KD skill is higher cooldown. I haven't seen it. I'll have to see it honestly. Like I am thinking, like if it has a stage 3 effect, that it will apply to the stage 5 effect as well, or like the tier 5 effect. But we'll have to see. I'm not quite sure about that. Um, let's see, a Venom slash tier, like this is crazy. It doesn't even have to crit for what I can read right here, which is automatically 2 stacks of poison. Doesn't decrease cooldown, which is crazy. Bolt Strike can no longer apply stun as a joint attack. Yeah, I've seen something like that. I'm not quite sure. Bolt Strike Tier 3 Stage 1 has been removed. Whatever, don't care. Bolt Strike can now be used to cancel other skills, but not before the damage is dealt. So yeah, some people know or don't know this. Fuck. Okay. So here goes. Oh, I still got my V button. There we go. So if you press Bolt Strike and your left or right mouse button after, or even your E or Q, you can cancel the skill like that. A lot of people don't even know this, but you can actually use this against Kung Fu masters that, well, not the block part, but for people that try and hit you like that. Like, unfortunately, this is on a very high cooldown to show you ways to like cancel it, but obviously, as you've seen, there are multiple ways. Like, I won't get into that much, but that is cleanly a nerf. Then again, from what I've seen, onto the Korean tournament, I'm not quite sure if this is a thing right now or not, but let's say you knock down a person, right? You web them, and if you web them and you press your Bolt Strike, the hits will apply first, and afterward the stun will be popped. Now this allows for instantly, like a Blade Master, they can double back out of that situation. So they're basically webbed on the ground and you Bolt Strike them, they can double back that because the first hit will not stun them. I've seen this multiple times happen. I'm not quite sure if it's either due to lag, framing, or whatever. I'm not quite sure. But I've seen onto the Korean tournaments that they actually do get the normal hits. So basically what they do is they press 3 and they cancel it right there, and they can use it for a combo extension. So later on into the game, like, I'm hoping for them for it to actually be a thing. I'm not quite sure if I've seen it right, but that will be a change into the skill as well. So yeah, that's quite crazy. And we had another follower. You can Bolt Strike people without removing the web. I'm not sure how. Like, I always remove the web for some fucking reason. Daddio53, thanks for the follow, man. So let's see, but let's not get it too much into the details. Like, I'm not quite sure. On our server, I've tried it before. Like, maybe it was on earlier patches, but I could not do it. I've tried it. Either way, Bolt Strike, we've had that. Poison Breath, it applies poison stacks faster right now. Onto the Korean patch, they actually said that the animation speed is actually faster. Yeah, exactly. From Alpha Predator, I am almost entirely certain that the web gets removed from the very first hit, and that the last hit will actually stun somebody. But yeah, I haven't PvP'd that much recently and tried that shit out. I've only seen Korean people do it, so I kind of assumed that it was onto the next patch, but whatever. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Poison Breath. So, casting is speed, they said it will increase, which is great. Like, they already increased it, like, from patch to patch to patch. Like, it used to be so fucking slow, like, holy shit. Poison Breath will also deal increased damage, which means more heal, more utility, which is great. But for the people that are, like, oh my god, I never get hit, then the Choke Bomb is actually better, since the cooldown has been decreased to 45 seconds instead of 60. So basically, right now, if you look at Poison Breath, it's 45-second cooldown. Choke Bomb is until 1 minute, so 15 seconds extra. And Plague Mist gets totally removed, which is kind of sad to me, because this was my bread and butter to go on factions and just whack the living shit out of people, just like pressing the 4 button, pressing V, then get out of it, press a 4 once again, and just kill people. Like, holy shit, it was amazing. So yeah, that was crazy. So sadly, RIP to Plague Mist. Wait, they haven't even said that Wait, Poison Breath, Venom Swarm, Choke Bomb, and Plague Mist can now be used to cancel all of the skills. What? So it's still the same, whatever. Lightning Rod. Base stage 1 can no longer apply stun as a joint attack. So basically what they did is... I'm not quite sure. Like this is the stun part. I am not quite sure what they mean to that, but whatever. Not really caring all that much because I never really used it for stun except for Asura, so whatever. Stage 2 has its cooldown reduced to 12 seconds from 24. Yay! So you can actually try and catch fucking assassins out of their hide. Yay! 24 seconds to 12. I actually dig this one a lot. Definitely a nerf in PvP. Not quite sure. Wait. Stage 2 has a cooldown. Wait, it's just stage 2. Like this one doesn't stun. This is actually good for the dark build though. I won't be using this. Fuck that. Wait, you can now assign skill points to throw dagger and learn sneak attack. What? What? It's the same, right? Like, it's always been the same. I absolutely have no clue what they mean with this. Only nerf in PvP is probably anti-cancel, yeah, probably. And the poison stack and shifting from LMB to stun hook kick, yeah. Yeah, that will be a PvP nerf. Yeah, I actually have no fucking idea what they mean with this sneak attack thing. Resets cooldown on hook kick and whatever, and the focus recovery. I never use this, like ever. But it should be pretty much used onto PvE as well if you lack, what is it called? If you lack Chi region. Now, for instance, this is probably only used into the dark build as well. But the funny thing is, like, it says that now you can cast other skills faster in succession with the throw dagger. This is crazy. But it only says, like, you can cast other skills in succession with the throw and dagger. So basically, you can bomb X button straight up 3, bolt strike, whatever the fuck. So, crazy, but nothing, like, super fancy outside of PvP. Highwire Act can no longer apply knockdown as a joint attack. Wait. Whatever. Barely use Highwire anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. Lotus Fury and Lotus Kick can now be used to cancel the skills, which is great. I'm not sure whether it is like you can cancel something with it or that you can cancel the skills with it. Like how I read it right now, can now be used to cancel other skills. So basically, you're in a skill. For instance, right now, if you do Poison Breath and you press your C button, it doesn't cancel right after the animation. But I'm thinking that it will be able to cancel the things now as well. You can now cast all the skills faster in succession with the Lotus Fury and Lotus Kick, so that basically just implies my other thing. The other way around with Lotus Fury, you have a few skills that can or cannot be cancelled. I'm not quite sure which ones because I don't use Lotus Fury into anything aside from left mouse button tab in PvP or like PvE, so I'm not quite sure what you want to be doing after Lotus Fury. Like, maybe put down your flower more easily, but I cannot think of anything that is useful. So, like, you can cancel your V button with it already and whatever. Like, I don't see the use for this last part. Honestly, don't care. Now, biggest fun. Fighting Spirit V button, tier 5 stage 4 now increases attack power bonus for the Dark Strike, Lightning Pierce or whatever up to 300 fucking percent instead of 100. That is insane. So basically I did a damage test with the 100% and it gave me a 2.4 2.5k crit extra on my 4 button. Now I'm not going to show it to you. If you want to see it, check out my other video. It's quite easy to check. It's the Hongmu Fighting Spirit. damage test video. But if I just imagine 2.4, 2.5k times 2 extra, so 5k damage more on my 4 button, that is going to be pretty fucking crazy. Now I'm going to check it out tomorrow, so I'm quite curious whether it will do a lot. Pull high wire cord can no longer apply daze or as a joint attack. Pull high wire cord, never use it, so whatever, I don't care. Shadow Dance Q. Shadow Dance now increases our movement speed for 6 seconds onto a successful resist instead of causing the next hard stab to be a critical hit. This to me is a buff because I never use Shadow Dance for the critical hit. Like, yay, I didn't even know. I didn't even know. Like, holy shit. So, yeah, in all honesty, if I'd have to summarize this, to the lightning build, buff. To the dark build, which I don't like either way, fuck it, nerf. For PvP, you have similar quirks that you can and cannot be used. I'm not quite sure if it's a nerf. I think it's not, because you'll be getting like more animation cancels, more speed. Yeah, that's about it. Just some crazy shit down the line. Lightning build, boys. A So yeah, I think that basically concludes like whatever the next patch is all about. I'll probably make a video to show actually how these things work and what it actually does to just clarify and give you guys the rounds up, mix ups and whatever. But I like it when I get pentad and stun them. You can start canceling. It's a little extra damage, but still not quite the fan. But if you get pentad, like your Q isn't going to be enough though. Like if you had this thing, obviously it would work, but it doesn't work for PvP. It would work in 66. Nah, nerf. I just like being faster. I like the movement speed. Like honestly, if you think about it, like what does happen sometimes is when I'm up against, for instance, blade dancers, like I just latch onto their tabs, right, with sidestep left. So if I go there, E out, and get another movement speed, I'm not sure if they stack. That would be amazing. But that way you would not be able to get pulled unless they're fucking godlike. Yeah, if you have good ping, it really depends too when you're timing it yourself, because the interval of the hits need to align up with the time that you actually press your Q. So it is debatable whether it is just ping reliant or not, or just being straight up lucky. Because I have the most amazing ping into this game as well. I've barely had any problems with ping. But the moment they do that shit, it like one of the times it results into like yay I get hit. The other time it's like yay I stun him. So I think it has to do with the interval of the hits of 5-point strike and penta slash. But yeah, like what fucking PvP do I do? Like I'm 1641 with a fucking silly win rate, so you shouldn't listen to me on that aspect, but whatever. So yeah, that basically concludes the new patch for Assassins. I'm quite curious on terms of the damage and how it will play out in the end.